Hello world, welcome back to another video. I'm Don, and I've just finally got a little bit of quiet time here. I've been sat here in my car waiting for, been people coming and going, and it's always a bit goofy to talk to yourself in front of people who are watching you, so I've got my chance. This is it. Today's video is all about the new Nik Collection, which is launching. I'm going to do my best to have this video kind of ready for launch. So let's say it's launching today. And I've been fortunate to have some early access to that. A little bit of an overview of this video. So I've come here to this beach to see if I can just grab a few photos that I can use while I'm doing my walkthrough. My walkthrough is going to be an explore through together. So like I said earlier, I did have early access to this, but I've got a lot on just now. I have my day job. I've been doing quite a few headshots for people, and also come back to historically I've done a bit of acting, and I'm going to be part of a production of The Tempest, which is going on soon. So I've got that as well. Lots of rehearsal time. So I haven't gotten to sort of dive in and get deep in it. So I thought, well, what could I do that might be interesting or add some value to what'll be coming out with Nik Collection? And I thought maybe just bringing you along as I explore it, so you can see how it goes. Like, not only I guess you'll get a glimpse of what's there and what that's like, but also, did I find it intuitive? Was I able to figure it out? I'll just do it on the fly. You'll see what I see, yeah. We'll go from there. So I'll try to keep this a little bit short. I'm going to jump across to the computer now. I'm not going to bring you along while I'm actually taking photos. People just walk by. I feel like a goofball. I'm not going to bring you along while I'm taking photos. It's crazy windy out there. It's going to be me and a 35mm lens in the middle of the day. See how we go. All right, jump to the computer.
All right, I'm going to start a new recording of my screen share, because I just launched in and then prattled on for at least 5 minutes. So the first thing that I wanted to show you, first of all, you can see here I've got Nik Collection 7 palette open. I've got some images here that I took at the beach the other day. Nothing stunning, but a few nice ones that please me decently enough. And I want to show you, first of all, that with this you can actually have, if I come down here to automate, Nik Collection 6 palette as well. You can have them, why did the other one go away now? I'll bring 7 back up again. Automate 7. There we go. You can have these simultaneously installed, and simultaneously, if you have screen real estate for it, you can have both palettes open. And I'm guessing strongly that the decision to have this ability to have them parallel installed is because if you look at these two palettes, you might notice that Nik Perspective has gone away. It is no longer part of the Nik Collection. So that was something that DxO had brought to the collection. It wasn't part of the original set way back when. They brought it to the collection, but I think there's just been a realignment, a realization that it kind of competes with Viewpoint, and it didn't apparently get used that much within the Nik Collection. So there was a decision taken to just remove it out of there, simplify things, and go from there. But for those people who have Nik 6, you can just keep it parallel installed, and you can continue to use perspective effects if that happens to be your thing. So I'll leave that at that. Was thinking to myself as I was looking at some of the press material that the software Nik Collection is 20 years old. Apparently, it's the software company is older than that, but Nik Color Efex had its first version in 2004, which is crazy. I think I came to know about it in around 2007, 8-ish. Couldn't afford it at the time because it was like $400 or $600 Canadian. So it was not on my list in my early career days. But nowadays, I absolutely love it. So anyway, let's jump in and take a look at some of the things that are going on with Nik Collection 7. All right, so let's go ahead and work with this image and see what we can see. So I'll just click on Color Effects. Nice. I don't know if you can tell there. Part of the press material suggested it was up to 30% faster for it to launch and get the image open. And I have to say it's at least 30% faster on my machine. So yeah, definitely a noticeable speed improvement from my perspective. I think that's really, really cool. So looking here, what can we see? We can see that there is, we've got our compare possibilities here. We've got our zoom possibilities here. A couple of new buttons up the top. We've got a quick export button, which will allow us to export snapshots quickly. And then we've also got the ability, switch to, that we don't need to go back to the host application in order to keep working on the image. We literally can, if I was finished in here and I wanted to take it to sharpener, I could take it to sharpener, for example. So that's really, really cool. Looking at the interface, you might also notice that we're missing some things here. For example, clear view was there. I think they had grain there, didn't they, to my memory? I feel like there's one more that I'm missing, but I won't stress that. Basically, they've taken everything away from there. And you might be thinking to yourself, but I loved having clear view there. Well, don't worry. If I come to my wee list here, it's actually in as a filter now, which gives it the added ability. Previously, clear view was a global adjustment, and now it gives you the ability to work with it just like all other filters, which lets you apply it where you really, really want to apply it. So interestingly, when I do this and I bump up my clear view, whatever I'm going to do, and you might notice down here that I've got some different possibilities down here. And I'll just start at the left and show you. So the first thing that I want to show you is that if I click on a control point, just as always would have been the case, I can drop a control point on there. Now, what is different is that the control point is now shapeable. So I can fine-tune the overall shape of where I want that adjustment to go. I can come up here and click on this to get a sense for what's being selected currently. And, for example, if I wanted to maybe lessen my luminance so that more of just that general space would be getting it, maybe go about there, maybe lessen my chrominance as well. So it's going to be mostly in the center and then fading its way out. But exciting bit is that you can change the shape. Now, let me just turn that off. One things that I noticed is for changing the shape, you need to be here. If you're out here, you're changing the size. If you're on the dot, you're changing the shape. The other thing I noticed is that you can twist these, but you sometimes there it came really quick. Sometimes I have had to hunt a little bit to find the rotate tool. But you absolutely do have a rotate tool, so you can get that just how you want it to be and drop it off. So now if I compare my before and after, I can see that hit of clear view dropping on there. So that's quite cool. I'll skip over control line because I don't think there's much in the way of change to that. But interestingly, you can also do a control polygon. Oh, before I jump away from the control point, I should say there's a new thing about control points in that you can use just like control lines had the eyedropper so that you could pick where you wanted. If you don't want the center point to be your main point of picking, then you can grab the wee tool, turn it on, and then you can shift it round to where you would like that to be. And I actually think maybe I would like it to be kind of a bit more on those greens, for example. So that's really cool. You can add that and you can change where it's going to take its sample from just by turning that on the line for control point. Now, the other thing so like I said, I'll skip over control line. We've got control polygon, and this can be added. So I'm still in clear view and I've already got a control point. This can be added in, let's say, for example, I wanted to kind of target this foam, and I just want to get a rough selection around the foam. I'll maybe get that bit of reflection a little bit too. Oh, I didn't complete my polygon. Cancel. The dome and dome. There we go. Yeah, so I've now selected my foam along there and can shift things if you need to. For example, maybe I want to get a bit more of that reflection. Notice that now I've got control polygon selected and I have the ability to use my picker for that too. It'll turn on the little pointer and I can nail that on there. And now if I come here, I can get a real sense for what's being selected in that. And again, so that's getting clear view as well. See the foam. So super, super cool. Now the other thing that we can see here is that there is now a luminosity mask. Maybe I'll pop a different adjustment on for the luminosity mask. So bear with me. Let me think for a moment. I think I would like, let's say, a little bit of warmth down on that sand. So I will grab a sunlight filter. Bear with me as I do my alphabetization here. So let me see what that's doing. Oops. Expand that out again. Cool. So that's good enough. And so let's say that I want to do a luminosity mask for this. So I'll click my luminosity mask, and then I can come and click a point, and that's going to give me a starting point and give me some controls once I do that. So you can see that I've kind of grabbed this mid space right here. If I just come up here and do that, you can get a sense for what's being selected. I'll drag that down a little bit so that it's getting a little bit more into the mid to shadowy kind of spaces, but not too far down. And I also maybe take it up a touch, but I want to protect that foam and keep that foam white. So let me take this off and see what the result of that might be. As I was looking at that, I'm thinking to myself, that doesn't feel right, and just realized that there is a default bit of brightness being added. So I'm just going to pull the brightness out, bring my contrast up a little. There. And looking at that, I don't love what it's doing to the sky, so I'm going to grab my control point. Actually, I think I'll grab my control line, and I'm going to hold Alt for a minus and bring this down like this. Just grab my picker. So you can see here that's got most of the sky out of the picture. Just going to make my luminance a little bit more generalized. Well, that's now taking a lot of that island out too. Let me try the chrominance more generalized. That's actually getting a bit more of the clouds, isn't it? So we'll go with that. And yeah, it's just about finding a balance, isn't it? And I'll just bring this up a touch. Cool, so let's see what kind of a result this has done. Again, I'm not trying to, I just realized that I turned it on down here. Not trying to, make the ultimate image. This is mostly just about kind of walking through things a little bit. So I had the luminosity mask to add it in, and then I used a control line to subtract some of that back out again. I think that feels a lot like what you might call intersecting in the Lightroom world. Might be a little bit different, but it's certainly got a similar feel to me. So let me now see what the sunlight's doing. Nice. Not really impacting the sky at all, but doing a nice job on some of that other stuff, but also not getting into my whites, which I want to keep kind of more pure. So that's looking quite cool. So now let's say that I wanted to see what this was like as compared to another edit. Maybe I do a quick export. And you could see there down here briefly, if you had keen eyes, that it just gave a little update that a TIFF had been exported successfully. That's the word I'm after. Now, I've not dived into this at all, but I do understand there's an ability to change this. So I'm just going to come and see if I come to preferences. Let's see if I go to export. So quick export parameters. Yeah, so you absolutely do. So it's exported a high quality 16-bit TIFF with no compression for me. Can also turn on JPEG if so desired, which I'm going to do just to keep things smaller. Oh, you can see here also that it's going to export to the original images folder, but you can change that. So I've done that quick export, and maybe I just want to put something else on this. Let me think for a moment. Maybe I'm going to do some pro contrast, which is no doubt my very favorite filter in here. Just kind of back and forthing that so I can get a sense. So I quite like that. I don't love how it looks down here, so I'm actually going to remove it from there momentarily. Just going to see how I feel about that. That's kind of giving me some more brightness in places, isn't it? Yeah, I quite like that. I'm a little bit concerned about that. Let me just come up here, and it kind of is blowing detail. It's probably this right here. Well, nothing is saying that it's blowing out, so maybe it's okay. I mean, it does come right up to the edge, but it's right to the edge, so let's call that good enough for this purpose. So anyway, I've applied my Pro Contrast, and I do want to just remove it from part of this. Probably the easiest way is going to be with a control line, and just kind of do it this way. And then undo that, because I just realized my blown bits had not shown up. Now suddenly they have shown up. Not sure why. I'll just do that. Let's bring them back. Protect those highlights a little. Maybe protect those shadows just a little. Not too worried, to be honest, so let them go just a touch. Cool. Awesome. So we'll call that good. But I do want to add my control line. Go one more time. This time I'll hold Alt because I want to remove that effect from this area. I forgot to hold Alt last time, so we'll do that. And I will just come here and grab this and just kind of put it there, just to get a sense. Yeah, that looks like it's doing great. So now if I do this, adding some nice contrast. And just because it's a bit annoying, I'll come up and turn these off again now. Little bit of a lag in that going away. I should at this point say that I'm using a pre-release version. So this is the day of / the day before launch that I'm doing this video, and I'm still on a pre-release version. So not entirely surprising if there are some little bits like this where it doesn't seem to be redrawing. There we go. Oh, look at that. A little before and after, just encouraged it to redraw, and it's all good. So now I do quick export again, and now I've got my 2 bits. This time it says that it's exported a JPEG for me, so that's all good. So that quick export, quite a cool little feature. We should also have a quick look at the feature of the new HSL. So there's an expanded HSL. So sorry, but I do not know my alphabetization. There it is. It's even starred. So I think this is reasonably easy to get a sense for what's going on with this. We've got right now sort of all channels. If you're used to Photolab, this is usually represented as white, and they've gone with kind of multicolor here, which might be a more clear choice. I think it might make more sense for more people. I'm going to grab the picker here, and I'm going to grab this blue. And when I do that, you see you get a controller that's not a whole lot different than the Luminosity mask controller. So it gives you the sense that you get your base selection here, your feathering down the bottom, and it gives you your ability to go along and kind of impact that range of colors. I often like to just quickly drop my saturation so that I can be sure that I've got what I want selected, and I sure do. I'm not interested in dropping the saturation so much. I'm actually a little bit curious about a slight hue shift to the left in this case, just to take it a little bit more. -10, maybe about there, just a little bit. And, I could increase that luminance or decrease. Don't like that, but, but I can. Let's put it that way. Whether or not I should is another question. I'll actually brighten it just a smidge, just to desaturate it just a little bit. Cool. So HSL tool, expanded, more robust, and again, it's in as a filter, so you get all these capabilities to sort of, you're obviously restricting by color, but then you can also restrict so you're only getting the blues in this top of the screen, for example. So that you're making sure that you're narrowing down where your blue selection is, so you're not impacting other blues if that's going to be problematic. So very, very cool. Yes, indeed. I just glanced down at my Wii presentation that's kind of reminding me of all of the new things in this version. And I knew there was one I was forgetting. It's grain. So grain, HSL, and Clearview were the ones that used to be just sort of global adjustments on the side there, and now they're in as filters and quite a bit more flexible as a result. And do you know what else is in as a filter? This is a really cool one. You might have already seen the press on this. I just need to think for a minute because something tells me it's not, to my memory, it's not in as a V. Yeah, it's not in as a V. So let me just scroll through. I might have started. Graduated, Glamour Glow. Or maybe I did not start. Clearview, Brilliance Warmth. No, okay. I might just cut to me finding it, because who knows how long it'll take me. Global Adjustments Viveza. So you can get the controls of Viveza, which is another of the plugins, directly here, and you can apply them using these tools. So it's a really, really great function. So you got brightness, contrast, saturation, structure, shadow, warmth, etc. I'm not just trying to think, is there anything that I really want to do here? Let's add some saturation. And I want to limit where this saturation is. So I'm going to grab a control point, pop it there, stretch that out, So I want it there, and pop one here as well. I grabbed the handle rather than the handle, if you know what I mean, if you caught what I did there. Just locating there. I could also have grabbed the little eyedropper, remember, but I was just trying to find a place that I was pleased with. And I think for that one, I'm going to drop that a bit. I think I want the sand to be boosted a lot, but not the island. The island just boosted a little. And you see here, if I click on the other control point 3, so if I click on control point 2, which you can see is that one, opacity is still at 100. If I click on control point 3, which you can see is that one, opacity is at 50. So very, very flexible tool, and really cool to see Viveza just built right in. You don't even need to leave, which I think is fantastic, because every now and again I do like those functions, but is it worth the trip is always a question you're asking yourself. And now you don't even need to worry about it. I'm going to click on the Convert to Smart Object here, click OK, and I'm going to come up to Switch To, and I'm going to see what happens here. I'm going to switch to Sharpener Output. So that was my understanding, and that is what's happening. So it's created a layer for the color effects that I did, and then it's reopened it in Sharpener. So basically just saving you some clicks and a little bit of time. Still a nice feature, I think. So what do I want to sharpen here? Probably. So really I'm in here mostly for the path of using the switch to function. So I'm not going to do too much in here. I think that's probably too high. I'm going to down that and give it a little bit of local contrast and call that good enough. Convert to Smart Object and apply. Nice one. So, and in coming back, you can see here, because I've converted to a smart object, I've got that, and I've got my different tools that I've gone about and the ability to pop in and make some changes along the way. Really, really cool functionality. So just kind of a little bit of a play, but hopefully that gives you a sense of some of the new things that are going on in Nik Collection. Gives you a sense of, what do you think about it? Is it something, do those things seem enough for you to think about upgrading or purchasing for the first time if you hadn't? But if there's one thing I've learned, it's that everybody comes at things from a different perspective. And nothing has reminded me of that as much as just, I don't know, sometime in the last week or so, I saw a video of someone using Luminar Neo, which I have avoided like the plague for ages now. And I thought, you know what? It's been many years since I've even downloaded a demo, so I should give it a try. And You know, it just isn't for me. I find the same with On One. On One, sometimes their press, I look at their press and I think, oh, that looks really cool. You know, at least I've downloaded their demo a few times. But then when I get into it, I feel like, oh, it's just not for me. And that's the truth. You know, I really like what I use. I display to you all what I use, and it fits me like a glove. But I guess that, you know, gloves come in different sizes, and so do hands. So you might be interested in something else. But if you are interested in Nik, I hope that this has been helpful to give you a bit of sense for what's there and what things are looking like, how things are working. With that, I have to come off this video now and spend some time quickly trying to edit it. You wouldn't. I've just recorded basically an hour's worth of my meandering. So hopefully we'll have it a whole lot shorter than that by the end. If you've stuck with me, thanks for watching. Have a peek in the description if you are thinking about doing a trial or whatnot. I'll pop some affiliate links down there. Really appreciate it if you can use those. But with that, I will say thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk again soon. Bye-bye.